The stars had always whispered of the unknown, but tonight, they screamed. Hovering high above Earth's fragile atmosphere, the alien vessel loomed, silent, colossal, and undeniable. Its metallic surface rippled with faint blue energy, reflecting city lights like fractured glass. For decades, humanity had watched the skies, wondering if they were alone. That question was answered not with words, but with a shadow stretching across the heavens. They called the ship Neaura, though no human truly understood what it meant. Its arrival wasn't loud. There were no explosions, no fleets descending in fury. Just silence, the kind that choked the air, the kind that turned confident nations into frightened children beneath the cosmic unknown. Dr. Amelia Reyes stood beneath the reinforced glass of the Interstellar Command Center, her gaze locked on the impossible structure floating above. The ship dwarfed Earth's largest cities, its surface alive with strange symbols, pulsating like a heartbeat. Military jets circled in vain, their weapons useless against something so advanced, so ancient. Across the planet, people gathered on rooftops, streets emptied, and governments issued rehearsed statements of calm. But beneath the surface, panic rippled. Amelia knew better than most, this wasn't a chance encounter. The ship was waiting. The first message arrived not through language, but through thought. Across satellites, radio waves, and private communication lines, a single phrase burned itself into every frequency: "We offer exchange." The words were calm, delivered in flawless translation, but laced with quiet command. The world's leaders scrambled for answers. Scientists were called, militaries mobilized, while media spun narratives of peace, of cooperation. But Amelia, leading Earth's Xenobiological Division, wasn't convinced. First contact was supposed to be monumental, structured, filled with protocols. This felt rehearsed, like they'd done this before. Like Earth was simply next in line. Outside, beams of light cascaded from Neaura, scanning the surface, analyzing the environment. Global defenses locked onto the ship, but no missiles fired. Fear held every finger back. The alien vessel wasn't attacking, but it wasn't asking permission either. Amelia's team prepared the neural interface device, the only tool capable of translating unknown thought into human understanding. She volunteered immediately. She wasn't here to wait for politicians. She was here for answers. The air thickened as the ship's lower hull opened, revealing towering figures descending in pale columns of light. They weren't monstrous. They weren't human. Their skin shimmered like translucent glass, their eyes vast, holding constellations in their depths. They moved with precision, each step calculated, every gesture rehearsed over eons of encounters across the stars. The tallest one spoke, though no mouth moved: "We mean no harm. We offer exchange." But beneath those words, Amelia heard something else: desperation hidden behind diplomacy, history buried beneath false peace. As the world watched in awe, Amelia felt the undercurrent of something darker. This wasn't first contact. This was a transaction. And humanity didn't yet understand the price. Underscore 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 underscore. Scene 2. The message echoed across the planet like a song carefully composed to disarm curiosity. We mean no harm. We offer exchange. Those words played on every screen, broadcasted in every language, carried across satellites as if they belonged to Earth itself. But Dr. Amelia Reyes heard what no one else dared to acknowledge: the tension beneath the offer, the rehearsed calm of an invasion disguised as diplomacy. She had studied alien signals, deciphered the mathematics of extraterrestrial communication, yet nothing prepared her for the chilling perfection of the Neaura's transmission. It wasn't raw, it wasn't alien. It was tailored, for humans. They knew us. Within hours, Earth's leaders scrambled to craft their response. International summits ignited, emergency protocols activated, but the weight of first contact crushed protocol under its heel. The world wanted peace, desperately so. Billions watched from rooftops, cities, underground bunkers, as the towering beings from Near-Aura stood motionless in their translucent forms, their glowing skin reflecting the artificial lights of Earth. Their appearance alone rewrote the boundaries of science and fear. Tall, impossibly slender, their skeletal frames glowed faintly, as if their entire bodies were carved from crystal and starlight. Their eyes, deep, shimmering wells of unknown galaxies, watched humanity without blinking, without emotion. Amelia was chosen to speak, not because she was fearless, but because she understood biology better than anyone on Earth. And biology didn't lie. Standing before the lead entity, armed with the neural interface device, she initiated contact. The alien's gaze locked onto hers, a direct link forming across neural frequencies, bypassing words entirely. In an instant, images flooded her mind, fractured memories of distant worlds, solar systems collapsing, civilizations crumbling under the weight of time. They were refugees, or so they claimed. The exchange began. Blueprints of impossible technology streamed into Earth's networks. Energy grids that could power cities for centuries, cures for diseases untouched by human medicine, atmospheric solutions to undo centuries of environmental decay. But Amelia's instinct screamed beneath the polished brilliance of their offer. Her eyes scanned the biological readings displayed across her neural link, their DNA sequence, molecular structures, hidden algorithms embedded within the technology they shared. And within those codes, anomalies. Hidden directives, environmental calibrations tuned not for Earth, but for them. Slowly, the realization sank in. The exchange wasn't a gift. It was a quiet rewriting of Earth's biology, a transformation buried beneath the facade of peace. As global leaders celebrated the breakthrough, as scientists hailed the arrival of salvation, Amelia understood the deeper game. The Near-Aura wasn't humanity's first contact. It was their final warning, dressed as diplomacy, wrapped in desperation. The towering beings, still as statues, observed humanity's naivety with quiet calculation. Their voices echoed once more, calm, measured, final, "We mean no harm, but survival requires adaptation." And somewhere beyond Earth's orbit, hidden in the shadows of the stars, more ships waited. Watching. Preparing. Scene 3. For the first time in centuries, Earth's skies weren't empty. They carried shadows, silent, watching, calculating. The Near-Aura hovered like a forgotten relic of some ancient prophecy, its metallic hull glinting under fractured moonlight, but its true purpose no longer hid behind diplomacy. Dr. Amelia Reyes stood alone inside the Interstellar Command Center, the encrypted transmission still echoing in her ears, "Your world will save us, or we will take it." The room, filled with holographic projections of alien technology and unreadable star maps, felt colder than space itself. All around her, world leaders shook hands, their faces drenched in relief, their eyes blind to the truth buried within the alien archives. But Amelia wasn't blind anymore. Her hands trembled as she scrolled through the final decrypted files. Schematics for bioengineering atmospheric regulators, neural override systems, and subterranean colonization hubs, all cleverly disguised as gifts. Yet buried in their code, laced within every blueprint, was the same underlying directive: terraform compatibility, priority species, non-human. Her pulse quickened. These weren't alliances, they were silent preparations for planetary takeover. The deception ran deep, masterfully crafted under the guise of salvation. Their world had died, consumed by the collapse of their star, leaving them as refugees drifting through endless voids. But desperation twists survival into something darker. Amelia had seen it before in human history: colonies born from necessity, rebellions fueled by scarcity, nations drowned in wars of survival. The aliens were no different. And now, their eyes, brilliant, shimmering with ancient intelligence, were set upon Earth. Outside the command center's reinforced glass, soldiers patrolled the landing zones, weapons gleaming under artificial floodlights. They thought they were guarding peace. They were wrong. Above them, the Near-Aura pulsed with quiet energy, a sleeping beast disguised as salvation. Amelia's mind raced through possibilities. She could sound the alarm, trigger Earth's orbital defenses, scramble fleets, launch countermeasures, but war with an advanced civilization wasn't a risk taken lightly. Humanity wasn't ready. But staying silent meant watching Earth gradually reshaped, its environment tailored for a species humanity didn't fully understand. There had to be another way, a line between surrender and destruction. The encrypted files revealed more than threats. Hidden deep within their neural archives were fragments of their culture, their art, their tragedies, their fears. They weren't monsters. They were desperate, stranded, out of time. But desperation can breed conquest. Amelia understood this better than anyone. Her fingers hovered over the console's emergency transmission panel as her reflection stared back at her, tired eyes, sleepless nights, the weight of an entire planet pressing down on her shoulders. This wasn't just a scientific breakthrough, it was a battle for existence hidden beneath words like diplomacy and cooperation. In the shadows of the alien archives, Amelia discovered a final encrypted message. Translated perfectly into human language, its tone neither threatening nor hopeful, but cold, clinical, inevitable, the weak resist, the wise adapt. Her heart sank. This wasn't an invasion, it was an evolution, and Earth was the next chapter. Whether humans survived the rewrite or not depended on what she did next. The countdown had already begun. Do not resist what is already written. The message wasn't a threat. It was a statement of fact. Resistance was irrelevant. Adaptation was inevitable. She stared at the blinking cursor on the emergency transmission screen, her thumb hovering millimeters from pressing the alert button that would mobilize Earth's defenses, initiate lockdowns, shatter the carefully painted illusion of peace. But would war save them? Could humanity even fight an enemy that had already infiltrated their infrastructure, their satellites, their power grids? They hadn't stormed Earth with weapons. They had come with offers. They had come with answers. And now Amelia saw the trap, Earth had accepted them willingly. She thought about the millions who believed they had secured a future without war, without scarcity, without fear. How could she be the one to steal that hope away? Her reflection shimmered on the console's polished surface, her eyes now older, heavier, carrying the unbearable weight of truth. She realized, perhaps too late, that the invasion had never needed battleships. It needed trust. And trust had already been given. She drew a slow, steady breath, her hand finally resting on the console's edge. If we're going to fall, she whispered to herself, at least let us fall on our own terms. The skies outside pulsed faintly, the cloaked ship still watching, still waiting. Somewhere deep within the near aura, a hidden signal flickered. The countdown continued. The countdown wasn't a timer, it was a quiet, methodical unraveling of Earth's future. The near aura, sleek and silent, drifted high above the stratosphere like a sentinel of inevitability. Every hour that passed, humanity moved one step closer to an irreversible transformation. Dr. Amelia Reyes knew this now, the illusion of control was the last comfort Earth had left. In the underground chambers of Interstellar Command, her boots echoed along the polished metal floors as she approached the restricted operations bay. The walls pulsed with status updates, projections of energy patterns, and false promises of peace. On the surface, world leaders continued their parades of unity, while journalists reported on the historic alliance, all unaware of the quiet infiltration unfolding beneath their feet. Amelia entered the secured intelligence archive, a cold, dimly lit space buried deep within the facility. Only a handful of individuals had clearance to access what lay within. She wasn't sure if they were allies or walking corpses already claimed by the inevitable. Her fingers danced across the console as the encrypted files projected before her, lines of alien code cascading in unnatural sequences. But now, she understood enough to read between the symbols. The atmospheric converters, the biomodification protocols, the neural integration blueprints, it was all a system, designed over centuries, perfected across ruined worlds. Earth wasn't the first. It was simply next in line. Her pulse thudded in her ears as a hidden log surfaced, a mission report buried beneath layers of encryption, recorded by the aliens themselves. The log displayed distant planets, once vibrant and alive, now cold, hollow replicas of their former selves. Each world had been reshaped, terraformed into environments suitable for the refugees of the near aura. The message echoed through the speakers in flawless human language, emotionless, absolute: assimilation is not conquest. It is necessity. Amelia clenched her fists, fury and despair tangling in her chest. They weren't here to destroy Earth, they were here to override it. Outside, beyond reinforced steel and concrete, the first of Earth's modified energy grids powered up. Entire cities lit with alien technology, hailed by world governments as the dawn of a new era. But with every light that flickered to life, the system calibrated Earth's atmosphere further toward alien compatibility. It was happening. The planet was changing molecule by molecule, hidden beneath the facade of progress. Her options were collapsing by the second. Military resistance was suicide. Public revelation would cause global panic, and by then, it would be too late. Amelia needed a third path. She scanned the data streams, searching for vulnerabilities, for anything, flaws in their programming, biological weaknesses, inconsistencies. And then, she found it. A pattern buried deep in the genetic architecture of the alien species, a dormant flaw, one they likely thought irrelevant. But in biology, even the smallest mutation can be exploited. Hope flared within her, fragile but undeniable. It wasn't much, but it was something, a chance to fight not with weapons, but with science. If she could alter the atmospheric sequence, introduce a genetic blocker at the molecular level, Earth's transformation could be delayed, maybe even stopped. But time was running out. Above, the cloaked fleet still loomed. The near aura remained a shadow in the stars, watching, waiting, patient as ever. Amelia knew they would detect her interference eventually. She had one shot. Her fingers hovered over the console, every decision weighed against the fate of 8 billion lives. She could surrender, or she could rewrite the ending. Her voice trembled but held firm as she whispered to herself, "Let's see how inevitable you really are." The laboratory's sterile walls seemed to close in around Amelia as her pulse raced faster than her thoughts. The flaw she discovered, a dormant genetic vulnerability, was the only thread Earth could cling to, dangling above the abyss. Outside, nations celebrated the alien alliance, oblivious to the creeping invasion masked as salvation. Above the planet, near aura floated like a sleeping god, patient, all-seeing, confident in its quiet conquest. But inside the interstellar command labs, Amelia's determination hardened into defiance. She knew the window to act was shrinking. The energy grids powered by alien technology had already begun reshaping the atmosphere in subtle, irreversible ways. The air tasted the same, the skies looked unchanged, but under the surface, Earth was mutating into something else, something inhuman. Her fingers flew across the console, initiating the genetic sequence she had designed, a microscopic biological countermeasure hidden within synthetic airborne particles. It was delicate, experimental, untested. But it was all they had. The plan was simple in theory, impossible in execution: hijack the atmospheric modifiers using the aliens' own energy infrastructure, introduce the engineered blocker into Earth's upper layers, and destabilize the environmental compatibility the near aura required for full colonization. If it worked, it would buy time, maybe weeks, maybe months, before the aliens detected the sabotage. If it failed, Earth would fall without resistance, rewritten at the cellular level. Amelia's breath quickened as warning icons flared across her screen, unauthorized access detected. They knew. The aliens were watching, their neural networks already intercepting her commands. Her eyes darted to the security feed, facility doors locking, system overrides activating, silent alarms blaring across hidden channels. But it was too late to stop her. The sequence deployed. Across Earth's atmosphere, microscopic particles dispersed, an invisible cloud of resistance, undetectable to the human eye, but catastrophic to the alien blueprint. The skies remained calm. The cities lit up in celebration. But far above, within the near aura, chaos ignited. Their systems glitched. Atmospheric readings destabilized. Alarms echoed in a language humanity couldn't comprehend. Amelia stared at the data streams flooding her console. The genetic blocker was working. For the first time, the perfect, methodical plan of the invaders fractured. But victory came with a price. The sabotage triggered an immediate response. The Nyrora's cloaking field rippled, revealing the ghost fleet hidden in orbit. Dozens of massive alien vessels emerged from the shadows, their dark hulls reflecting the distant sun like steel predators awakening from hibernation. Earth's leaders panicked. Emergency protocols activated. Satellites blinked offline. Communications scrambled into static. Amelia's heart pounded as global broadcasts filled with confusion and fear. The illusion of peace shattered. Humanity's fragile confidence dissolved into chaos. But beneath the fear, a spark ignited, resistance, no longer theoretical. The aliens had underestimated humanity's resolve. They believed in inevitability. They never accounted for defiance. Inside the lab, Amelia's console flickered. A direct message from the alien command intercepted her system, a cold, clinical voice echoing across the speakers. "You have delayed the inevitable. But you cannot stop what must be." Her eyes narrowed. Her voice steady as steel, she whispered back into the transmission, "We're human. We've made a habit of surviving the impossible." Above, the alien fleet drifted closer. The battle for Earth had truly begun. The world had changed overnight. Streets once filled with cheers of progress now echoed with panic and confusion. Across every major city, the broadcasts played on a loop, grainy footage of massive alien vessels shimmering into view beyond Earth's atmosphere. Their size alone defied comprehension, silent leviathans drifting in formation like shadows of inevitability. But humanity wasn't blind anymore. The illusion had cracked. The countdown had accelerated. For the first time, Earth stood united, not under banners of false peace, but beneath the heavy silence of survival. Deep within the Interstellar Command Center, Dr. Amelia Reyes worked without rest, her bloodshot eyes fixed on the data flooding her terminal. The genetic blocker had worked. The atmospheric shift had stalled. But victory was fleeting. The invaders had adapted, recalculating at speeds humanity struggled to comprehend. Their patience was gone. Their response was coming. Global defense grids powered up. Military installations scrambled fighters into the upper atmosphere, orbital cannons locked onto the incoming fleet. But Amelia knew brute force wasn't enough. Earth was decades behind in technology. A direct assault would be suicide. The real war wasn't in the skies, it was in the systems. Quiet, methodical, unseen. Her console displayed intercepted alien transmissions, encrypted fragments revealing their internal debate. Some called for immediate occupation. Others, cautious of Earth's unpredictable resistance, urged delay. They underestimated the human flaw they couldn't quantify, the will to survive at all costs. In low Earth orbit, the near-aura pulsed with eerie light, its systems glitching under the effects of the atmospheric sabotage. Amelia's countermeasure had bought time, but the clock still ticked toward disaster. A new signal breached the secure channels, coded, faint, not from Earth. Another ship. Smaller. Undetected until now. It drifted near the lunar orbit, sending fragments of a message. At first, the translation was broken, scattered symbols, distorted frequencies. But slowly, it took shape, and with it, a revelation that shifted everything. "We resist. You are not alone." Amelia's heart froze. Another faction. Aliens, but not aligned with the invaders. Survivors, hidden, waiting, watching. For decades, humanity believed it was alone, then believed it was helpless. But now, in the shadows of war, they weren't the only defiant ones. Her console displayed limited biometric data, different physiology, different design, but their message was clear. They too had suffered at the hands of the Nyrora civilization. They had escaped assimilation. And now, they offered alliance. Her fingers trembled as she activated the secure transmission. The room fell silent, save for the hum of distant alarms. Her voice, steady but cautious, reached out across the void. "This is Earth Command. We hear you. If you resist them, help us fight." The response came, immediate, resolute. "Their downfall begins with unity. We will guide you." Amelia's mind raced. Humanity had its flaws, its divisions, its weaknesses, but in defiance, they found strength. And now, with allies beyond their world, the impossible was no longer unreachable. The skies filled with enemies, but among the stars, hope whispered its return. Hope had always been a fragile thing, easily shattered under the weight of impossible odds. But tonight, for the first time since the near aura darkened Earth's skies, hope carried the weight of possibility. In the cold vacuum of space, hidden near the shadow of the moon, the resistance ship drifted silently, its frame weathered by centuries of exile, its crew survivors of a fate humanity now faced. Dr. Amelia Reyes stood at the heart of Interstellar Command, her eyes locked on the incoming data stream. For years, Earth had believed itself alone in the universe, first abandoned, then targeted. But now, that illusion fractured. The exiles weren't here to conquer. They were here to warn. And if Earth listened, they might just survive. The encrypted signal beamed across secure frequencies, translating ancient alien language into human code. The message was simple yet laced with urgency: they assimilate. They devour. They evolve. We resist. Amelia's pulse thundered in her ears as she parsed the transmission logs. These weren't myths. These were survivors of worlds consumed by the same invaders now orbiting Earth. The Resistance called them the Architects, a species driven by genetic conquest, reshaping planets not through war, but through infiltration, biological manipulation, quiet domination. Their technology was flawless, their patience limitless. But the exiles had found cracks in their perfection. Amelia's screen flooded with schematics, designs for countermeasures, atmospheric disruptors, neural interference arrays. It wasn't a blueprint for victory. It was a blueprint for delaying extinction. The Resistance had fought them once, and lost their home. But they had learned. They had adapted. Now, Earth had a choice. Follow their guidance, stand defiant, or vanish like the forgotten civilizations before them. Across the globe, Earth's defenses scrambled. Fighter jets streaked through the atmosphere, orbital platforms armed their cannons, but Amelia knew brute force alone wouldn't save them. The Architects thrived on fear, on predictability. Survival required something else, a war fought in the shadows, inside systems, beneath the skin of the planet itself. The exiles' technology wasn't as advanced, but it was designed with one goal: disruption. The lab pulsed with activity as technicians and scientists mobilized under Amelia's orders. Atmospheric blockers were recalibrated. Neural disruptors deployed in test environments. Across the planet, hidden facilities activated, spreading countersignals into Earth's electromagnetic grid. The goal wasn't to destroy the invaders outright. It was to dest. Fracture their control, make Earth an ungovernable battlefield. If they couldn't defeat them by force, they would drown them in chaos. Outside, the near aura and its ghost fleet drifted closer, their cloaking fields flickering as the Resistance's interference pulsed across space. Amelia's console buzzed, another message from the exiles: the first battle is not in space. It is in your systems. Corrupt their code, and you corrupt their control. Her jaw tightened. Earth was outnumbered, outgunned, but no longer out of options. The countdown continued. The invasion was underway. But for the first time, Earth wasn't fighting alone. The Resistance had returned. The Architects would soon learn, humanity had no intention of fading quietly into the void.